Cheryl.
Hey.
She's on vacation. Is it working now? Yeah. Shit. Shit, dude. Oh, man. Oh, it's just so. That tracks. That tracks. Ah! That's all I have to say. Oh, I had been rambling for almost 40 minutes, and I apologize that I've been doing that completely on silent. And I've been staring at my OBS studio, which has the audio mixer, and I just did not notice. And I apologize. That was my bad, dude. Oh, Jesus Christ. All right. All right. Well, my friends, I am going to at least take a little bit of a break. I'm gonna take like a 5 minute break and get a glass of wine because I just feel like such a fucking dingus. And you were messaging me and commenting that the sound wasn't working, and I didn't have the chat up because my laptop screen is small, and I didn't have. Oh, excuse me. Sugar honey iced tea. Well, that's just how the cookie fucking crumbles. All right. Um, dude, I cannot believe that. I truly cannot believe that. All right, whatever. So I'm gonna be right back, okay, you guys? I'm just going to. Where is it? Gotta open it up again. Just a few. I need to like. I need to like regroup because I was like so excited. And I'm going to share, especially if yous have been like waiting to like chit chat with me. I apologize. I really do. Mm, I'll be right back.
Wouldn't it be crazy if you could create voiceovers that sound like a
raspy old man,
a young teenage girl?
Hello again, my friends. Um, my fucking bad. I streamed for 40 minutes and I didn't realize that my microphone wasn't connected, so my bad. We're gonna try that again because I am determined to discuss this stuff. But to be completely fair, the first chattering was fucking chef's kiss. Like, I had such good points, but my bad. I'll try not to do that in the future. I might need a checklist or something. So, anyway, welcome. Hello, my friends, and welcome to Monday, another episode of The Salt Circle, where we discuss and navigate, codependency, recovery, grief, dysfunctional relationships, all that good stuff. And we do it from a place where paganism and psychology intersect. Every Monday, I like to discuss shadow work or self-sorcery. And this week is going to be the same. I really wanted to talk about uh, some ugly truths or just maybe things that we all need to realize about shadow work or about our healing journeys or meeting our inner selves as individuals who are a little bit fucking traumatized and dysfunctional. And I say this because I love you and I always it's nice to have someone to navigate these complex topics with, especially since, death, dying, and bereavement, dealing with other people's addiction or having dysfunctional childhoods is pretty taboo. This is a safe place where we can really show up and talk about it. So I'll definitely try to look at the comments, but I definitely want to hear your guys' opinions, your input, your perspective, and all that stuff about it. So yeah, let's get started. My name is Daniela. I will be your host, and yeah, let's get into it. So, something I wanted to talk about shadow work. Actually, fuck that. Before we even get into it, something we need to say is you, my beautiful friend, listen to me. We need to, obviously ground ourselves. We have the candles, we were breathing. If you're not familiar with the introductory steps of our episodes, please refer to the first episode and we kind of discuss it there, the introductory stuff. But I really want you to, especially when you're with me, just be in your body, show up authentically, really feel how you want to feel. Like, don't hold it back, whether you want to cry, whether you want to scream, you want to break something, you want to fart, whatever it is, just don't hold it in. Let yourself really authentically be here, be in your body, be in this moment, and react completely genuinely. So that being said, you need to give yourself way more credit. You need to give yourself way more credit and be way nicer to yourself for how hard you're trying and how far you've come. And I know that's really hard. So I'm here to remind you to cut yourself some slack, my guy, my friend. It's not going to help you reach your goals if you are bullying yourself. And, I relate with that so completely. I realize that when I talk to myself and I'm mean to myself, I speak to myself like I am my mother, how my mother used to speak to me or my father. So it's really important to practice soft dialogue and just being nice to yourself, like advocate and stick up for yourself as if you were your own friend. If you heard someone talking to your best friend about, whatever, the way you speak to yourself, you would stick up for your friend, right? So, do that for yourself because you're doing such a great job and you're really doing, so much for someone in your position, considering everything. And, who do you really get, you know, credit from? I'm going to give you that credit. I really want you to give yourself that credit too. And, especially here where you can just be completely authentic, allow yourself to be. Don't be mean. Don't think you need to act any certain way. Um, I think the best way to for me to explain what I want to explain is just to tell you what happened over like the last couple of days. So for for many reasons, many different situations, I'm child free. I don't have a kid, and I have never been around kids, interacted with kids. I don't think I like kids. I don't I don't want to hang out with kids, whatever. And I never really realized why. I always just thought like, oh, it's because I have problems, that's why. Haha, whatever. And sure, okay, that's true. You could say that, but I never really thought about it until a couple of days ago when I was in a situation with, a younger kid and her family. And I felt so triggered. Let's just say I felt so uncomfortable. And, I would notice that this child didn't have to react or behave in a way that I expect a child to react or behave because I'm using my own experiences. I was expected to be very, very, one way, and to see a child kind of super sheltered, very, she's spoiled, she can kind of do whatever she wants, and it's her family isn't really saying anything. Nobody cares if she says please or thank you. And it made me feel very unhappy and uncomfortable, and I just didn't know why. And like an hour later, was still feeling like I was gonna die. Like, and it sounds stupid, but I felt just really upset. And I felt like there was this impending doom, and my heart was racing, and I just felt like I just wanted to just turn inside out. And I really wanted to think about it too. It's just like, what the fuck is wrong with me? Like, what is my problem? And why am I reacting physically? Like, why are my emotions manifesting and fucking me up like I owe them money? What is this? And, with shadow work, it's just to allow all parts of yourself to exist. It's just to allow every thought to be able to come to the surface and catch some air and be in the sunshine and not feel the need to just clean it up and not, I can't be out. Like, no, just let it. Just it's part of my nature in here, in my ecology of my fucking brain. Um, so I was thinking about it. I was like, okay, like I am fucking upset and not okay, and I just feel like I need to fucking scream and cry and throw up. And to think about the upsetness in terms of like, all right, let's locate it. Let's figure out what's hurt. What in me is hurt? What has been wounded by this child who was just acting like a child? Because, all children should be spoiled. All children should not have to, be in like a sense of constantly vigilant of saying please and thank you and not making any sound and just I don't know, you know what I mean? So I thought about it, I was like, okay, like what's actually hurt? Is it my pride? Is it because I don't have a kid? No, because I don't want one. Is it I felt disrespected because she wouldn't say please or thank you and nobody cared to enforce, trying to get her to be in that habit. I was like, not really, because it's inconsequential to me. It was just like, whatever. Like, it's not that big of a deal, I guess. So again, like, okay, what's actually hurt then? What is this uncomfortable feeling that I am just kind of reacting really extreme to? And, that's why it's so important to breathe, and lighting candles and really grounding myself and reminding myself to come down into my body is very helpful when I do these deep looks into my reactions or my behaviors. And I realized, okay, like, this hurt, this feeling that I want to avoid, or this feeling that is being elicited by interacting with children or small kids or whatever the fuck you call them. I don't know. Little people. That's not right. But you know what I mean? Um, and I realized my panic button that was being hit was nostalgia, right? And the nostalgia, because for me, my childhood and my like family and stuff is a very traumatic, dysfunctional dynamic. So to be reminded on like a subconscious, almost molecular way of my childhood or of like the people in my upbringing or situations from, my younger formative developmental years, it made me feel very uncomfortable. That was it. And that's what was making me panic, feeling reminiscent of my grandparents and my dad, I realized. Here, it gets so fucked up. It gets so much deeper. Hold on. Got this really yummy white wine. I love Chardonnay lately. But and like I said, for me, like family and childhood is a very like fucking topic. So to be in a situation where I am being reminded or I'm feeling this visceral like salmon brain, like I gotta swim back upriver, gotta go home, gotta reproduce and die, feeling that kind of, you know what I mean, that part of my brain vortexing, jettisoning to, my childhood home. It was very uncomfortable. And I think that's why I've avoided being around children, is because I don't want to be reminded of home and family dynamics, at least how I know it. And I realized deeper, because when you allow yourself to just feel and just fall down that rabbit hole of your Elden Ring level lore, it really kind of just you go like through this almost like the path of least resistance, like bears do in nature. You just kind of fall into this understanding, and you find this trail of where things really can connect and where they do, and how they intersect and how things tie into each other. And so, like, with me, and I talk about this a little bit in my videos. With me, my father was enabled by his parents his entire life. So my father became, a drug addict, and was like in and out of rehab and prisons and dropped out of school before he was even 16. And this was in New York back whenever. And ever since then, so even before I was born, my grandparents have been enabling and became really delusional through their enabling. And because my father became a drug addict at such a young age, and something happened, he had like trauma, I'm sure, but because it really stunted him in this young fucking age, he really never grew up. So I knew him as like, in his 30s, 40s, 50s, but he was always like a fucking teenager. He was always like this kid, even though he was, 6 foot something with a terrible fucking, just, gosh. And, the way my grandparents would baby him, if their son could do no wrong, they would give him money for drugs, prostitutes. They would literally chauffeur him. He lived with them. He literally, he was a teenage, not even, he was like a preteen boy forever in their house until they died. And up until the day they died, literally, they never would give up their son. He could steal your car out of the driveway with your keys. He would find your purse, take everything, steal your shit, crash it, and like the police would arrest him, and they still would not believe that he stole your car. Like they would never, ever. And I think, seeing how babied he was, they would butter his bread. He's a 50-year-old fucking man. Like, and he has, I don't know if he's alive. He had a mullet too. So it's just like this fucking, like, pre-internet incel kind of, like this fucking mama's boy turned like like I can't even. I can't even. And like it got so bad, right? And I think seeing children, and children should be spoiled. Children should be sheltered. Children shouldn't be grown up to be, they shouldn't know about suffering, or like they shouldn't know about these like taboo topics. Like wait until they're like 10 before we start fucking traumatizing them. Let's just give them their childhood to be brats. Like the fuck. Yeah, I don't know. I don't have kids, but I feel like kind of, right? Um and I think that is kind of why I have this aversion to children. And also, my grandfather especially, he would always tell me ever since I was a little kid, because, we always knew there was something seriously wrong with my dad. He was just a criminal. He would do everything he was not supposed to do. And my grandparents would always just bail him out. They would always just take his side, like it did not matter. And my grandfather would always kind of default to like his main premise being like, well, that's my son. When you have kids, you'll understand. You'll do anything for your kid. And I always thought, I was like, no, the fuck I won't. Like, absolutely not. Like, this is like too much. And it really like set me up for really bad relationships when I was, older, right? Total horrifying understanding of men and relationships. And geez, these two guys, my grandfather and my dad, like, oh, fuck's sake. Um, but yeah, he would always just be like, this is a family. We don't give up the family. But like he only like met my dad. Because he did not care about grandma. Like when she was diagnosed terminal, he like told me, he and my aunt Donna, like their kid, he's like, can you like move her stuff out of the bedroom? I don't want to like look at it anymore. Because like he was trying to say like, oh, it's too painful. It's like, yeah, but she's dying in the living room. Like you have to walk past her anyway. Like what? Like, can you just like not like after like 6 years of marriage, can like you just like let this ride out for the next 4 fucking weeks, man? Like, poor woman. Poor fucking woman. But whatever. Um, Even my dad would steal grandma's like medicine when she was dying in the house, like terminal. And even then, both of them would not admit they did not care. Like my dad would smoke cigarettes in front of like the oxygen tanks, and the hospice nurses are like, we're literally not coming over. Like that is so dangerous, and it's just like they didn't care. Grandma and grandpa were just like, well, we'll take care of it. We'll figure it out. And it's like, you're literally dying. Like, you can't just like have like the next 4 weeks to just like have some fucking care. Like, are you kidding? They wanted their son to be comfortable. We can't ask him to smoke in the garage or the basement, or ask him to just to stay in his bedroom and smoke or go outside. He needs to be able to smoke right here, right in front of the. Oh! So I think like seeing children really incites this like cellular fucking revulsion to that dynamic, you know? Um, ugh. And so understanding and analyzing, digesting, categorizing, dissecting, demystifying, whatever we want to fucking call it. Shadow work really is to just pull back the layers and not throw the layers out, not like rip them apart. It's just to like unfold the petals and see what it all is. Just kind of like fan it out like it's a deck of cards and just see what you have here. And it's like you don't have to be scared. Um, I realize, and I've always known how insane my life sounds when I say these things out loud. So I used to never want to say anything out loud or share personal stories. And I'm getting over that. I'm trying to be more like, fuck it, it's true. Like, I just need to get it out. Um, so thank you for being here and being non-judgmental. I appreciate that. Um, but in showing all these layers and sides of you, showing them to light, uh, very important, right? Sorry, I lost my train of thought. Anyway, I'm gonna check on the chat. Okay. No one messaged. That's fine. But definitely tell me what you think. If you have any opinions or if you want me to expand on anything. I do lose my train of thought a lot, but eventually it all comes together somehow. It's kind of like a cake or, like a pancake instead of a wedding cake. The proportions are a little fucked, but it's all right. It's good. Put it in a pan. Um, so yeah, shadow work. Really allowing it all to just come out. Um, And I know how it sounds, and I've hidden it for a very long time, but it's my story, and all of our stories are deserving to be known and heard and expressed freely. Um, no matter what you've gone through or how you feel about it. And it can really be almost upsetting in its own way to look at your life in a that kind of way, like almost in a third party perspective, because it's like damn. And I think that too maybe another reason why. Anyway, we're gonna skip that thought. I don't even want to think about that. But on the flip side, right? Because there's always a fucking flip side. It can't just be that easy, especially with shadow work. It's not going to be that easy. So there's this like little goblin that's like in my brain who, while I'm like feeling like, oh, I just psychoanalyzed myself. Look at me, I'm a big girl. I'm learning about myself. So I can what? Just be more aware and depressed, I guess. Like let's fucking use it for art. Like, um but this little fucking goblin, as I'm like celebrating like this breakthrough, this fucking domino effect of self-realization, and just like, wow, that, made me feel more calm. Now I feel more sure of myself. I feel more confident going into a situation that's similar to that again because I've gone through it once and I lived and whatever. The little goblin that is like in my fucking head, who is just like scratching at my fucking dome in the inner walls, is like, hey, you bitch, wait a minute. No, fuck that. You're making it to like college 201 level, like heady, like absolutely not. Why can't it just be? And like this little goblin, I like to think of her as like my primal sitting outside, squatting on a counter, having fucking hairy areolas. She is that fucking dinosaur level bog witch. Like she is primal, right? And she is that foundation. She will survive during like the fucking apocalypse. Like that is who I will become to, and I will be fine. Like I got her. I got goblin brain right there. And even though like I'm happy that I'm like diving deep and I'm allowing myself to really explore and understand myself on like this deep interpersonal level that I haven't even been aware of before this, right? And Goblin Brain is literally just stomping around like, no, no, you need to just make it surface level. Like, you're making this way too pretentious. This is becoming too frou-frou, Sigmund Freud. I think I know what I'm talking about, but I'm really just high off my ass. And it's not fair to ignore the basis, primal, just stock level fucking issue, which was I didn't like what it was. I just didn't like that situation. I was uncomfortable. I just was getting annoyed. I was frustrated, right? Like all of those basic Honda Civic fucking basic ass emotions that I felt are valid. And Goblin Brain is like, that's fine for your frou-frou, almost half-ass college degree bullshit, but like, no, like, I'm gonna put my stick in the mud and say, no, we were annoyed. We need to just say that. It doesn't have to be deeper than that. You just didn't want to be in that situation. And while I want to be my mother and be a bully to myself, on top of me, there's goblin brain. There's just like me in the prefrontal cortex trying to fucking drive. There's another part of me that is like this fucking like 17 face like overseer that like doesn't like to get involved because she's like, we're gonna die anyway. Let's just see what happens, right? And she's trying to say like, hey, how about both of this can exist? It can be a base level and a deeper level, right? And then there's like this other part of me that we won't even get into that other part, right? But you know, this omnipotent part of my head is trying to say, allow goblin brain also, because shadow work is about integrating all of these parts, all unfolding all of these petals. And Goblin Brain, Goblin Girl, she's a part of you, of this. She has her own petal. Like you can't shun her while you're trying to be honest and real and let everything else show up. And then she shows up and you're like, oh, wait, no, not like that. So, like, you know, let's really take a look at it. Like, yeah, like I was annoyed. Yeah, I wasn't happy about the situation I was in, and I didn't want to be in it, you know, for a lot of reasons. And that can just be a full sentence. And I don't have to feel upset or like I need to hide that. And I think, you know, as a woman, and you know, in America or just in general, like you're supposed to like love kids and you're supposed to like be like super about kids, and like to hear a woman be like, yeah, I don't want to fucking be around them like that, especially in that situation where I'm triggered and I feel like this doom of like being reminded of like my father, and like every time you know, like, oh, it's all valid. And just allow it all to just come up to the surface and breathe. Um, and just allow yourself to be angry, be annoyed, say like, fuck this kid. I don't want to be around this. Like, shit. But it's important to just catch yourself before you're that bully, you know, to really like just see yourself and just, I don't know, it's hard though. It really is practice to allow all of these parts to just exist and coexist and mingle without having harsh criticism. And I think that, you know, especially when you've, you know, grown up in, you know, traumatic childhoods or dysfunctional relationships, when you have been in really like just dysfunctional situations chronically, I really do think that you know, like you had no ability to be autonomous. You didn't have the ability to limit who had access to you, or like you couldn't even like stick up for yourself or say what you wanted. So when you're feeling certain emotions, like those primal goblin emotions, and then you're saying, wait, no, we have to think deeper about it. Wait a minute, no, that's too basic. Like that's too fucking bleh. What's the deeper root, juicier nucleus of it? Where's that nougat crunch, man? It's like that matters too, but it's okay to just allow those goblin brain thoughts and feelings to exist. Like by doing shadow work, you're not invalidating or minimizing, right? Um, I think it's normal too, though, when you have been, programmed to always doubt yourself or not realize that you should show up for yourself or that you can show up for yourself. I think it's almost a reflex to when doing shadow work or just doing any kind of introspection to just beat yourself up about it. Like I feel like no matter what, especially when like you're healing like your inner child or like you're trying to unlearn survival behaviors, like those things don't want to go. So these wounds will like try to like fester and like re-hurt themselves. So I think like just allowing like these shitty thoughts or these shitty moods to just come and go, just allow them all to the surface and not repress them. Again, if you want to cry, if you want to throw up, if you want to like just like call out of work or just start baking, pick up like whatever it is, like just allow yourself to express that. Um, I would love to discuss a later time about, the connection of tears and cortisol, stress, and, how expression of emotion is healthy as opposed to holding all that in. And with shadow work, even though we're going really deep down in, it really does get it out to the surface. And then I don't know, I feel better about the whole situation now that I've met that part of myself that I honestly didn't even know existed. Um, yeah. Sorry, I got very distracted. So I'm gonna take a look at the comments. We're gonna see if anyone messaged. Oh, yes. I feel you. I'm very judgmental too. Yeah, Ron, that's very true. And of course, like I've said before, shadow work isn't something that it's like a one and done. You've done the shadow work, done achievement unlocked, you're cured, you're neurotypical, congrats. Like it's like exercise or, learning the guitar. It's taking a lot of time. It's going to take many, many days of repetitive action and continuously showing up to do the work. Like training a muscle. Excuse me, I apologize. Um, and you're gonna be sore, and that's okay. I do really apologize that I did not have my microphone unmuted for the first 36 minutes of the stream because damn, I feel like I'm always really good for the first take and then I just kind of poop out afterwards. Like the first burp of the day is choice. Like I feel like that with like content creating, like the first take is like, yeah, that's where it's all at. But, I really do appreciate everyone for showing up and kind of discussing with me, their thoughts of shadow work, or even if you're not discussing with me, just showing up and thinking about it. Because, if you're here, you've been brought here by something in your life is maybe making it so you need some support or you need some extra resources. And I really want to be a source of practical guidance. Shadow work is fucking annoying and it's bullshit, but it's really a really great, powerful tool to heal a lot of the wounds that we carry and learn better, healthier behaviors, especially when we're trying to get out of survival mode. So I think for, the end of this episode, because I feel like there was more I wanted to chat about, but I can't recall. So we talked about, what did we even talk about? Wait, stop. I feel like this is like a symptom of why I think I'm gonna get like fucking Alzheimer's because my memory is shit. Knock on wood. I also smoke a lot of weed, but whatever. So we spoke about shadow work and doing it and figuring out deep things and then allowing the not deep things and how you can be programmed to feel that way. Huh. Well, if you can think of anything that you would like me to chat about for the next episode of Assault Circle, please let me know. But on Wednesday, we're going to have our episode that we cover death, dying, and bereavement. And you're always welcome to join me for that, especially if you or someone is going through, their own mortality or a grief process. So definitely want to extend that resource out to people because when I was going through it, I definitely could have used this. So I get it. I've been there. Definitely gonna try to get a better script for next time so I don't record all the juicy stuff on silent. My bad. But again, thank you guys. Thanks for joining. Definitely click the subscribe tab button, whatever it is. Definitely comment, share, all that good stuff. Whatever you can to show support because I really do appreciate that. Right now, the Salt Circle is just kind of created by me. It's something that I've had on my mind for a few years, and now this is a month and 2 weeks of actually doing it. So thank you for joining me. It's really exciting to have you here with me on this journey, not of, a creative way to cope, but on this journey of I don't know, exploration of myself. I look at everyone who does view and interact. I look at you as friends, and I really want to be honest with my friends and create a really supportive environment where we can all just show up and be ourselves and get this shit out and work it out. So that's all the time I have. This has been an hour and a half stream, but I think there's only like 20 minutes of actual talking. I don't know. I'm really bad with time because ADHD and stuff. Um, so yeah, another episode of Assault Circle. I feel like this episode was such a train wreck, and I do apologize, but I'm just gonna leave you guys with that. I'm gonna put the music on as I blow out candles so we could all just kind of breathe and decompress. All right, my friends. Actually, I'm not. I'm just gonna sign off. Okay. All right. Goodbye.